There are billions of smartphones and tablets in use by people every day. When you have a great idea for a mobile application, you also have access to a huge market with the potential to impact the lives of millions of people around the world. My name is Rob DeFeo. I'm a startup advocate at AWS and the host of Startup Engineering Podcast. I spend my time helping founders, CTOs, and engineers build their technology and products. In this short video, we'll use the example of a productivity app to go over the key requirements when building mobile applications. I'll explain the most relevant AWS services and the simplest way to get started. Today, you are a mobile developer and the founder of the new To-Do app. You help users like me stay organized and productive. From user interviews, the common theme is that people want help with everyday reminders, like canceling subscriptions, making phone calls, or paying bills. Your users want to fill their spare time completing tasks and being productive. And they want to do this across different devices and while they're on the move, and often with limited connectivity. For the MVP, the required features are for users to create to-do items and then be able to mark them as complete when the task is done, and create lists to group similar tasks together or be able to track larger projects. Your MVP is going to be used by customers who will store personal data. They'll need to be able to sign up and log in securely. Your users need features, but you'll also need to build it quickly to get to market. AWS helps founders like you build features like this so you can focus on creating engaged user experience that really differentiates your great application from the others that are out there. The dominant mobile operating systems are Android and iOS. Apps can be built natively or with frameworks such as React Native or Ionic. To weigh each of these options, I'll focus on the ones that are the most relevant and important to your To-Do app. Native applications have the highest performance and access to most device features, but require separate code bases written in different languages. With React Native, you can write in one language and it will create apps for both operating systems. It supports native features like gestures, though some plugins will be required and not all code is shareable across both platforms. Ionic creates hybrid applications using web components like HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. These are then hosted inside a native application. Code can be reused from the website, but not all gestures are supported, and performance is not as good for some features compared to applications that are built natively. For To-Do app, I suggest using React Native. We don't yet know who will use the To-Do app, but we want to make it available to all users, and then quickly iterate based on their feedback. Building native applications will require two code bases, and this will take longer to build and more to maintain. Ionic is a good option too, and should be considered if you have shareable web components from a website. I think React is the best option for the To-Do app. There is no existing website, and the target users all have mobile devices. And we want to offer a smooth user experience, including the use of gestures. Amplify is a set of libraries, UI components, and a CLI toolchain designed for you, mobile developers. It helps build applications and infrastructure without you needing to know or have any specialized knowledge of AWS services. It supports the tools that you currently use to build with, whether that's natively or with React Native or Ionic frameworks. And you can configure common infrastructure for tasks and use cases like authentication, storage, API, analytics, notifications, machine learning, and more directly from the command line. Use Amplify for your MVP and you can grow with it too. I'll explain how with Amplify you can build an end-to-end solution, including a mobile application and the supporting infrastructure, and then use it to add functionality like registering users, storing data, and sending notifications. Amplify is the tool that I see startup developers, especially front-end developers, use to build mobile and web applications, with the supporting AWS infrastructure too. To store private data, your users will need to trust To-Do app. Trusted applications are both secure and familiar. Use Cognito to create user accounts and provide authentication. Cognito supports two types of authentication, user pools, and social federation. With user pools, your users sign up with a username, email, or mobile phone number, and then provide a password for authentication. Social federation is the linking of social identities such as Twitter, Facebook, or Google. And Amplify UI components provide you a simple way to add familiar and trusted authentication flow into your application. Cognito integrates with Identity Access Management, or IAM, which allows granular access to data or any AWS service. The best practice is to grant only the minimum permissions required. Amplify makes it easy to configure social federation and user pools with the corresponding IAM permissions to access the required underlying AWS resources. Adding authentication is easy. From the command line, run amplify add auth. Then select social federation or user pool and provide any additional requirements. If you are unsure, you can safely select the defaults. Behind the scenes, Amplify will create the AWS resources and minimum IAM permissions needed. To-Do app users now have accounts and they're ready to start adding tasks, and then to mark them as complete as they finish them. This is a good time to keep in mind what other data needs to be collected to support future features. For example, adding in additional time fields and some events when starting or completing a task will help build advanced features like analytics and predictions. Although data is stored in AWS to support multiple devices and advanced features, support for offline or spotty connectivity is needed, as your users are going to be using the To-Do app on the go. Communication between the mobile application and your backend resources will be via an API. And this is short for Application Programming Interface. APIs typically come in two flavors, REST and GraphQL. REST, which stands for Representational State Transfer, is an established way of communicating over the internet. It represents resources as URLs, with commands such as get, post, put, and delete, that in turn will create, read, update, and delete resources. This combination of actions is commonly known as CRUD. For To-Do app, the GET request to /tasks will return a list of all the tasks, and a GET request to /task/ID will return the detail of a single task. API Gateway is how developers create, maintain, monitor, and secure REST APIs at any scale. It supports the Open API standard that developers use to define and document REST APIs, and it makes it easy to use the developer tools and then integrate in code. GraphQL is similar to a query language, where you have control over the data that's returned. Like REST, it communicates over HTTP, but it does things a little differently. It uses one endpoint, and the requests are either a query, mutation, or subscription. Queries are a bit like GET in REST, but with more features, and they're similar to a database query. Used correctly, they can be an efficient way to collect data. Clients specify filters and feeds, and then reduces the size of each response by only returning the rows and fields required. Take the scenario where you need the task detail for all tasks completed last month. A single query can return everything at once. With REST, you'd have to perform at least one request to get the list, and then one per item to get the details. Mutations are the term GraphQL uses for updating or deleting data, and you should apply permissions to each of these actions. Subscriptions are used to receive and updates to data changes as they happen, without the need for polling. This makes seeing the number of outstanding tasks or details of new tasks show up instantly in the UI. Startups build scalable mobile applications using AppSync, including those that require real-time updates from a wide range of data sources. Amplify CLI can configure both types of APIs. REST APIs work best when you're confident how the mobile app or the client will talk to the API. GraphQL gives you more flexibility and is often suited to front-end developers. From a data storage point of view, either API type can be used for building the To-Do app, as it's a well-understood use case. I suggest though using AppSync and GraphQL, as building features like real-time updates and offline access are easier, Plus, mobile developers will have more control. Subscriptions make the UI more responsive. Subscribe your app to updates, and users will see changes as they happen without having to click or wait for screens to refresh. AppSync makes working with offline or spotty connectivity easy. It provides local data set for tasks when devices go offline, and then data synchronization with conflict resolution when the device regains connectivity. Your users will be able to continue as normal in airplane mode, with their changes saved locally and then synced when it reconnects. Create a GraphQL API from the command line using the command Amplify add API, and then selecting GraphQL. You can either provide a schema, or the tool will help guide you to create one. There's an example of a to-do list built into the tool. Amplify creates a DynamoDB database to store the tasks and a GraphQL endpoint for managing access to the data. DynamoDB is a fast and flexible NoSQL database that offers high performance at any scale. Mobile developers can move fast via GraphQL as they have access to the schema and can customize the data model. Mobile application code can change the response without needing a back-end developer to change the code. Now you have a mobile application that is secure, stores data, is interactive, and can even work offline. Use notifications to engage your users further. Notifications can take many forms, largely depending on the device your users have. They could be an email, SMS, mobile push, or even voice. Add notifications with the command Amplify add notifications, and select the type needed depending on the mobile device operating system. For mobile, the most simple example is sending the same notification to all of your users. I have received many of these types of mobile notifications, but rarely do they have the desired effect. I can't think of many situations where all your users will want to receive the same message at the same time of day, but at different stages of using your product. Try creating notifications that are based on user behavior and then running experiments. Pinpoint allows you to understand and engage with your users by sending personalized and relevant messages. It gathers and understands your customer usage and engagement analytics, and using these sends relevant notifications at the best time, based on how your users have used your mobile application and historically responded to previous notifications. Add analytics to improve your notifications with Amplify Add Analytics. It will work with Cognito to track unique user behavior, and you can take it one step further by using AI services such as Personalize to forecast and provide custom notifications and insights based on when tasks are likely or predicted to be completed. You can take it one step further by using artificial intelligence services such as Personalize and Forecast. These can provide customized notifications and even insights based on when it's predicted that tasks will be completed. Your to-do list app is almost finished. Shipping a mobile app is not as fast as shipping a website. Publishing the app on the Google Play Store or the Apple iTunes Store can take time. Your app needs to be reviewed before it's deployed and available to your customers. This means bugs cannot always be fixed immediately. And there are different types of devices. They can have different screen sizes, operating systems, or hardware combinations. AWS Device Farm is a service that helps you ship a great quality application. Applications can be tested across an extensive range of real mobile devices. Use the service to continuously test your mobile application and reproduce issues that are found. You will have access to view the videos of the test, screenshots, and access to the logs. You'll be able to use these to diagnose the problem and fix the bug. You need to move fast and focus on what's important to your users. For everything else, try to use Amplify. Beyond authentication, analytics, API, and notifications that were used in this example, it supports storage, functions, hosting, interactions, and predictions. It's a tool that can take the place of an infrastructure team and allows you to move quickly and get your mobile application into your users' hands, and for you to focus on building the features that your users want. Your to-do list app is now ready for your users to try out. To find out more about how to build a mobile application, check out the resources alongside this video. Remember to sign up to Activate for free training, technical support, and credits. Get a head start with Activate, and it's the same program that's used by some of the most successful startups, including Segment, Webflow, and Slack. $1,000 is available to bootstrap startups, and it grows with you. And credits are available up to $100,000 through our venture capital partners. To hear directly from the engineering teams at startups, subscribe to the Startup Engineering Podcast, where founders, CTOs, and engineers walk through how they overcame technical challenges and built their products.